Hello, I'm Gary Maloney here for Sacktown Slam, and this is your Tuesday Smackdown edition. I realize today's a Wednesday. I'll probably have NXT up tomorrow. I've been battling a flu for the last day or two and have been super exhausted as I have had an extremely long week. But everything is relative in this world of YouTube wrestling commentators. So, unfortunately, as far as that goes, we have lost a few. It looks like Adam Blampied, Adam Puccini, and Simon, baseball face Simon from What Culture with his little baseball signs, they have all left What Culture. No one really seems to know why. Now, honestly, it could have been monetary problems, could have been this YouTube apocalypse that we are all unfortunately enduring. For whatever reason, I wish these guys the best. I mean, they've already been given a future endeavors letter, so there's not even time to negotiate to keep them there. But I know that What Culture was a big inspiration for me as far as getting into this. Those guys were the best in covering video games, wrestling, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, everything I loved, they covered. So I really hope that those guys, I don't think they're going to have a problem finding work on YouTube. But, I hope that they stick together and they make something else and put What Culture out of business. Because firing those guys, like, why? I have not heard of why. I have not heard of what. I have not heard anything since they were fired on Tuesday or left or whatever. Obviously there were some contract disputes, I would dare say. Now let's get on to Smackdown. First of all, before I even mention anything, I really, really feel the need to talk about this, because this has gone from bad to worse to just downright distasteful in my book. And that's the WWE title. Jinder Mahal, his whole shtick about this is, oh, you're all xenophobic, racist, and you all don't like me for the color of my skin because you're all xenophobic, racist, and that's been his whole shtick, is calling people racist this whole time. And now, during a segment where you're making fun of the man's face for the second week in a row, by the way, I mean, that first week, okay, you were kind of making fun of different faces and making fun of the fact that he was the artist. Okay, fine. That'll go for one thing. But when you are saying that something along the lines of he will look the same, making fun of the way he fucking talks, and talking about how his hair looks like it was done by a dog groomer or some shit like that. No. I am sorry, WWE, but that is some fucked up shit right there. And I will not censor that. No way. This guy came from Japan as one of the best Japanese wrestlers. And I mean Japanese, not like AJ Styles, who was American coming from a Japanese promotion. This was a Japanese guy at the top of his game, coming from a Japanese promotion to join your promotion. And you are been treating him like shit since he left NXT. I am sorry, but this cannot go unavenged. And I am with every single YouTuber, however small, however large, when I say this. I am a Californian. And when those people were screaming, "That's too far," that's exactly what I was screaming. Because you fucking dolts at WWE don't know the difference between humor and racism. And Vince, I'm going to tell you this right now. And I have no qualms about it. You have always had a beef with Japanese wrestlers. Day one. Doesn't matter. Hell, you've always had a beef with Asian wrestlers. Doesn't matter if it was Funaki. Doesn't matter if it was Tajiri. Hell, you let freaking oh, gosh, whatever the hell his name was, because I can't even remember it now. You let him hold the Cruiserweight title for 1 week. One. And then you took it right, Tozawa. You let Akira Tozawa hold that Cruiserweight title for 1 week. One. And then you took it right back away from him. You had the perfect chance to expand. And then what's your plan after Tozawa? You give a loser like Enzo Amore? Enzo, who has no wrestling talent, none, a shot at the Cruiserweight title. You make me sick. And what's everybody gonna say? Well, then stop watching the product. The point isn't that the product itself is the problem. The problem is the people running the product. GFW has the same problem. And the issue was that once they got out Dixie Carter, that product started to slowly improve. Do I think GFW is going to go under? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on how fast they can recover. But when you look at the way that the WWE title is currently being booked right now, I think it's an insult to that title and the heritage of that title. Why? Why give Mahal anything else? At this point, I guarantee those racist ass lines where everyone was screaming, "That's too far." You're gonna walk into Oakland, California, for that matter, with this racist ass jargon and think you're gonna get away from it from the crowd? I'm surprised the crowd wasn't throwing shit into the ring. 'Cause I guarantee that's how pissed they probably were. This whole thing just makes me physically fucking ill, and I hope at Hell in a Cell that Shinsuke Nakamura kicks the son of a bitch's teeth in, because he has had to endure so much. He hasn't been on TV for 2 weeks, but I hope he just beats the snot out of him. At this point, I don't care if the match is in a Hell in a Cell. It does call for it now, because I want to see Mr. Xenophobia racist, get the crap beat out of him and have his turban shoved right up his ass. Because quite frankly, he deserves no better. To be willing to say that is to be willing to say you are a racist. End of discussion. This is supposed to be PG television, if I'm not mistaken. If you're not going to be PG, then why are you calling yourself that? Just a quick question there, WWE Road Dogg. Your whole creative team makes me fucking ill. Road Dogg and Bucktooth McGee, who don't fucking know how to write a fucking plot line if it bit him in the ass. If you want to showcase Jinder Mahal, showcase Jinder Mahal. Don't showcase him making racist jokes about a Japanese guy who deserves way the fuck more respect than he is currently getting on that roster. Ever since he left NXT, he's been treated like shit. Why do you think Triple H was so afraid to let Asuka go? Because fucking Bucktooth McGee is probably going to treat him like shit. Ooh, let's have her lose to Bayley. Yeah! I think that would be a good thing. Or we could have her lose to Emma. That would really get people pissed off. Yeah, we could really get a lot of YouTube views that way. Yeah, I'm sorry. And then Road Dogg. Oh, if you don't like that, we got 2 words for you. Too bad, because you're going to have to watch our product anyway. And guess what? I got a nice DVR where I can just, watch New Japan if your shit sucks. So, yeah, no thanks. Which, more than likely, after this fiasco, that's exactly where Nakamura is going to be headed back to. So you better hope and you better pray that your plan is to give that dude the WWE title. Because if you let that stupid ass son of a bitch, Jinder Mahal, hold that title with Tweedledee and Tweedledum laughing at all his stupid racist jokes, I'm sorry, but I'm not for that. And I don't need to play the replays of what he said, because I am sure there are plenty of people on YouTube and plenty of places on YouTube to find what he said. It disgusts me in so many different ways. Grow up, WWE. Anyway, the rest of this show, which was also a dumpster fire, and it really just, it has no place. I mean, this show, this felt like one of those throwaway shows where we're just left wondering, why? What's the point? Why are we here? I feel like this whole thing was just very, very poorly organized. And tonight's show just didn't hold any meaning, with the exception of maybe one segment. One. And even then, it didn't hold much hell, there were a lot of racism, unfortunately, but it just didn't feel, it felt like Smackdown that just wasn't good. And it seems to me like this whole thing was just a pointless waste of time. I really do. And what exactly was the point? Really? I mean, you're really gonna make this such a big, big deal? I mean, it boggles the mind how much they think they can get away with. Anyway, here's your Smackdown Live results for what they're worth. So we have, there was a recap video package of Kevin Owens attacking Vince McMahon from last week. Yeah, we kind of expected that. Shane McMahon walked to the ring and to open the show. McMahon called Owens' actions cowardly, and that Vince McMahon is a tough SOB. Shane said that he's had his differences with his father, and he loves him regardless. McMahon brought up how he had to watch his father get beaten down by Owens at home with his family. He vowed to get vengeance on Owens and said that Owens doesn't know what he had just done, and he'd condemned Owens to a ruthless beatdown in hell in a cell. So we kind of knew that this was coming, obviously, with Hell in the Cell being one of Shane's spot monkey addictions, in WWE. I think the last time we saw him in Hell in the Cell was not this past WrestleMania, but the WrestleMania beforehand. I think it was 32. But, yeah, it just... whatever, we all know how that's going to pan out. It's going to pan out with Shane winning and beating Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens wanting to up the ante. So, whatever. Commercial break. Aiden English sings a song about Randy Orton being stupid before the match, and then it's Randy Orton versus Aiden English. I'm going to be honest, this whole match was rest holds, and it was very boring. And it was, Aiden English squeezing Randy Orton's head till it was like purple as a grape, and then Randy Orton hits an RKO out of nowhere. He wins. Now, the problem is, what happened afterwards. There was an impromptu match because post-match, Rusev walked out onto the stage, cut a promo about how Orton turned him into a national disgrace. No, I think you did a pretty good job of that yourself when you lost in 9 seconds at WrestleMania, SummerSlam. Yeah, might as well, because he wasn't even on the WrestleMania card. Cough, cough. But he vowed to rip the veins out of the Viper's mouth, set up a quick match. Rusev sent him into Aiden English, who was on the apron, which did distract Randy Orton, and, hit him for a super kick with a quick win. What does this prove? It really doesn't prove anything. Proves you can beat a guy after he's been in the ring 7 minutes with a doofus like Aiden English. Really doesn't prove anything else. And Rusev wants to walk away like, oh, ooh, I'm the Women's Revolution. Why don't you just hook up Rusev with Emma? That'd be a great fucking trade. Trade Rusev for Emma, considering, Smackdown needs female talent like crazy. And you want to have a chick that wants to claim she's the Women's Revolution. I'd love to see how Becky Lynch thinks about that in Charlotte. Anyhow, this was such a pointless waste of time on this card. I mean, they must have cut and pasted this like last minute. It was such a waste of time. Then Jinder Mahal walked out to the ring with the Singh brothers. Mahal continued to mock what Nakamura looks like and vowed to see Nakamura at Hell in the Cell and retain his title. Shinsuke Nakamura cut a backstage promo about at Hell in the Cell Mahal won't be laughing when he takes the WWE title from him. Which, that better damn well happen considering how much torture you've put Nakamura under. We don't care about Mahal. And here's the thing. I've heard two different things. Number one, their tour of India is pretty much over with. Take the damn title off Mahal. This whole Mahal experiment has been a joke. Do you want to know why it's a joke? Because you have yet to show us anything Mahal can actually do with his fucking 97 Scott Steiner veins. He can't wrestle. He can't fight. He can't do anything. He just roided himself up to look big to get the WWE title. So tell me something. Why is the WWE champion, making jokes and this and that, when really the centerpiece of this feud should be the WWE title? It's a disgrace. You are disgracing your most prestigious title in the fucking company. That is a disgrace. Anyway, AJ Styles cut a promo about how Baron Corbin is a failure. He called him the Shortcut King. I actually kind of found that funny, but in a way, I think it's the company and corporate initiative trying to cut down Baron Corbin. And this is another thing I didn't really like or get. I mean, you already took Money in the Bank away from this guy. You already had him lose once for the U.S. title. What are you going to do? Have him, botch again? So, apparently, Corbin jumped AJ Styles and landed a series of strikes before the match had even started. Ty Dillinger ran out to the ring and attacked Corbin. The bell never sounded, thus the match had never started. Corbin got away from Dillinger, and Styles was able to lock a calf crusher on him until Corbin tapped out. Commercial break. Corbin did a backstage promo complaining about how being jumped about Styles and Dillinger. He was like, "Wah, I got my title shot taken away from me." Well, you probably shouldn't have been talking shit to Creative, and you probably shouldn't have been talking shit about their doctor. So, in one sense, I get where he's coming from. I do, because a lot of wrestlers, including Daniel Bryan, have problems with their doctor and their concussion policies, which seem to be very favoritism about who gets in and who does not. I gotta be honest, I think I see this at Hell in a Cell leading to a triple threat for the U.S. title. Hopefully, if WWE has any common sense, the next thing they will do is that since we are headed toward the end of the year, we could maybe get Dillinger as our U.S. champion and take AJ Styles and start working him towards the WWE title with Nakamura as the WWE champion, considering that is what we, the people, want to see. We do not want to see Jinder Mahal saying, "Oh, look at his face. Nya, 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 nya. Let's make some more racist remarks, jackass." Anyway, the next, promo, and probably the most important part of the show, in my honest opinion, we saw Charlotte Flair for the first time since her dad, Ric Flair, had started having some health problems. I guess it was his colon or something like that. So and he had to have it removed, or I don't know the complete details. I just know he was in the hospital for a while, and that's why we did not see Charlotte. We saw Charlotte at the Mae Young Classic because that was taped back in July, but we haven't seen her at all on SmackDown Live for months. So this was the first time in a few months, hence why I'm saying this was the most relevant part of this whole show, if you can even call this show relevant. But Charlotte Flair walked out to the ring and said that she has been away with helping her father and health issues. She said that life is fragile, and from here on out, she will make each moment as big as possible for her and her father, Ric Flair. This led to Natalya walking out and showing off a photo of herself winning the SmackDown Women's title. Which, by the way, this was a joke, because she was trying to say, oh, I represent all women. I'm the women's revolution. I'm the women's revolution. Yeah. You know, give me a break. You know, I mean, Road Dogg. You know, is this your idea of a joke? I mean, I know she's been the women's champ for, I want to say about a month and a half, but really? I mean, I don't think she got any bragging rights yet. She ain't Asuka, that's for damn sure. And she ain't Alexa Bliss, and she ain't no damn Charlotte. So, trying to brag off to Charlotte like that is like Emma trying to say she's the women's revolution. Dumpster fire. Anyway, this led to Natalya walking down, showing off a photo of herself with the SmackDown Women's title. Flair said that she is glad that Natalya came out because she wants to challenge her for the title. This led to Becky Lynch and Naomi walking out and also wanting a title match. Lana walked out with Tamina, and Lana called Natalya a crazy cat lady, which was very, very much needed, and told her to shut up. Tamina wants a title shot. Daniel Bryan walked out and booked a fatal 4-way match tonight to determine the number one contender for the women's title. The winner of this match will challenge Natalya at Hell in a Cell. Okay. Relevant, but here's the thing. There is so much hot potatoing right now. I would almost prefer that it stay on Natalya. I don't think for the rest of the year would be a good idea, but I think Hell in a Cell is the first pay-per-view that SmackDown is going to have since SummerSlam, if I'm not mistaken. So, why? I mean, that was the whole reason for Sin City SmackDown. And you didn't even have Carmella even on this show. So, either Carmella's going to cash in at Hell in a Cell, or I don't know. You know, this to me seemed like a semi-pointless match, and yet another coronation for Charlotte. Because, spoiler alert, Charlotte wins the match. Anyway, you had the Usos versus the Hype Bros in a non-title match. Tag champs, the Usos, joined the broadcast. Or, why does it say non-title match Usos versus Hype Bros when it was New Day versus Hype Bros? Well, what the fuck is going on with this website? Okay, Usos joined the broadcast table, because that is where they were, and it was New Day versus the Hype Bros, just to, fill you in on what was actually going on. The bell sounds and Big E starts taking it to Mojo Rawley. He dives Rawley from the ring, and Rawley regroups with Zack at ringside. Then there was a commercial. Back again, and Mojo levels off Kofi Kingston with a clothesline and pins for a 2 count. Mojo charges Kofi into the corner, but Kofi moves and Mojo goes shoulder first into the ring post. Ryder tags in, but so does Big E, who comes in hot. He hits Ryder with a belly-to-belly. He tries to follow up with a standing splash, but Ryder gets his knees up. Ryder goes on the offense. He sits Big E down in the corner, connects with the broski boot. He pins Kofi, but Kofi breaks it up just in time. The Hype Bros are cleared out of the ring, and Kofi does a big leap over the top rope onto them. Back inside, the New Day hit the midnight hour for the pinfall. This was a fairly short match, and I don't know. I can kind of understand why, considering Kofi was injured. I thought he had a broken ankle. I guess that may not be the case. But my understanding was that Kofi and Xavier Woods were injured. Obviously, Xavier's injury was much more severe than Kofi's. Which is probably why he was able to compete in this match after only competing last week in a street fight against the Usos in Las Vegas. After the commercial break, and by the way, this doesn't say this here either, but there was a segment backstage where the Hype Bros were talking to each other. And they were like, man, we gotta quit losing like this. And they're like, something's gotta change, bro. And, him and Mojo, they walked off together, which is the important part. Because if they were upset with each other, they would not have walked off together. So my guess is that they might be turning the Hype Bros heel. This would be a good thing for the Smackdown brand, as they are lacking in heel power. The only thing they need at the tag team helm now is either for the Ascension to step up, or for the I believe their names are the Fashion Police to make a return. It has been what, since June that we have seen these guys? Come on. It's time for those guys to make a comeback. No more Fashion Files. I love the Fashion Files, but I think you can do the Fashion Files and a match and just pre-tape the Fashion Files a couple hours earlier. It just boggles my mind how wasted this talent has been. Smackdown has just gone from pre-WrestleMania being like one of the greatest things ever on WWE television to post-WrestleMania being a dumpster fire. SmackDown is quite literally the Cleveland Browns of the WWE right now. It is bad. And for having the WWE title, AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, and then you have Shelton Benjamin back in a tag team with Chad Gable, and you have freaking, Bobby Roode, whom I will say is 3 weeks now without being on there. Granted, that's okay. It's okay. It's not the end of the world without Bobby Roode or Nakamura. But next week, they both need to show up. Otherwise, you are not utilizing your fucking talent. Anyway, commercial break. Kevin Owens was interviewed via satellite. He apologizes for attacking Vince McMahon last week. Fake. And can't believe what he did. He apologized to the fans, WWE, to the McMahon family, said that Shane had it coming, and that his actions are all Shane's fault. He said that Shane disrespected him first, and in his mind, it was Shane who he was attacking. He wanted to apologize to anyone that watches Hell in a Cell because of the breakdown that will install on Shane McMahon, and that people like him, they don't go to hell, they go to heaven. This was a great. This, Kevin Owens is almost one of the brighter parts of this show at this point, with it being such a terrible dumpster fire. Come on. What about this show outside of this storyline at this juncture is actually good? I don't know what to say, but that was a good promo. Okay, so this is where we see Mojo Rawley talking with Zack Ryder backstage. Riley told Ryler that things need to change or he will have to do something drastic. And then Dolph Ziggler. So it sounds like I said, they both walked away together. Now, whether this could be a heel turn for Mojo or a heel turn for Zack, I don't know if one another is going to turn on each other or if they're going to turn this team heel. If I'm WWE, I go for the shot at turning the Hype Bros heel. Why? Because you need tag teams. You can't be disassembling your tag teams. Because the fact of the matter is, you've done that already? You did that the first time you did the blind split in 2002. And do you know what happened? Dumpster fire. So, leave your tag teams intact. Be happy you have tag teams at this point with the way you're pulling them apart. Last thing we need is a freaking Mojo Rawley in the Cruiserweight division. Ugh. Not that he'd make the weight limit, but I'm just saying. It seems like everyone who has zero wrestling ability, 0 dimes, is getting stuck in the friggin' Cruiserweight division. Which, that Cruiserweight division is all about people who can actually wrestle. Tards. Anyway, Dolph Ziggler walks out and said that he has been exposing various superstars who can't lace his boots. He walked out and acted like Triple H. And when they're talking about this, he did the whole him spitting water thing. And then he picked up the mic and he's all, spitting out that water, it's much harder than it actually looks. And then he walked out like Shawn Michaels. The fans started chanting CM Punk. And boy, I gotta be honest, that would have gotten a huge reaction. But he walked out, he did the Shawn Michaels thing, and then he did the DX opening. And he's all shot, and he mocked Triple H and Shawn Michaels for coasting off their legacy into retirement. He said that fans don't care about skill, but rather their entrances. You know, this whole gimmick has been going on now for, I want to say, the actual entrance thing has been going on for about 3 weeks, maybe a month. I'm going to be honest. As true as it is, it's time for it to go into its next phase. I think that his opponent, because the one opponent that has the most exonerated, large, gigantic entrance is Bobby Roode. But the only one that has the best ring skills along with an incredible entrance would be either Bobby Roode or Nakamura, who's already kicked Ziggler's ass and is involved in a title feud for the WWE title. So, yeah, I think Bobby Roode is the man that they're leading to, but I think that maybe that's why he's off TV. I don't know any of this for a fact. This is all just rumors and hype coming from various YouTubers and such. I want to say that that's probably the route they're going to go. We will probably see next week, as that will only leave them 2 weeks. And if they're going to build on this, they need to do it in the next 2 weeks. Otherwise, this was really just a waste of Ziggler's time. And he's probably going to sign his release and walk out. If they want to keep Ziggler at all, they need to make this a bigger thing with Bobby Roode. Anyway, then you have the Fatal 4-Way match with Charlotte Flair versus Naomi versus Natalya versus Tamina. Or excuse me, it was Charlotte, Naomi, Tamina, and Becky. I'm sorry. Okay, bell sounds and Tamina starts beating up all of the other women. Becky and Naomi are cleared out of the ring, and then Tamina lays Charlotte out with a clothesline. Tamina delivers a suplex to Charlotte, and it cuts to a commercial. Go figure. Back again, and Tamina is still alone in the ring with Charlotte, delivering offense. Charlotte starts to fight back, and then Becky and Naomi run in, and they gang up on Tamina. Tamina rolls out of the ring, which, I'm going to be honest, no one thought Tamina was going to win this match. It was going to be one of the other 3 women. I mean, I don't even think anyone thought Naomi was going to win this match. It was going to be Becky or it was going to be Charlotte, but I think it was pretty obvious early on that it was going to be Charlotte. Anyway, Tamina rolls out of the ring, and Lana tends to her at ringside. Charlotte and Becky and Naomi start scrapping each other. Naomi hits a cross body, and both Becky and Charlotte simultaneously, on Naomi and Charlotte simultaneously, and pins Becky for a 2 count. Becky gets out of Dodge, leaving Naomi and Charlotte to go at it. Naomi hits a big jawbreaker and then applies a submission hold. That when they say that, it's that one where she's holding the back of their neck and kind of putting her knee into their stomach. So it's a lot of pressure on the back of the neck, or so it would seem. Becky comes in and breaks it up. Then Becky puts a dream her on Naomi, but Tamina comes in to break it up. Tamina changes Becky in the corner, but Becky moves and Tamina goes shoulder first into the ring post. There is a scramble with all the women, and Tamina clotheslines Becky. Charlotte then spears Tamina. Naomi is leveled by Charlotte, and then it's Naomi and Tamina laying side by side. Charlotte goes to the top rope and springs into a moonsault, landing on both of them. She pins them both, but Tamina kicks out. Naomi hits a big leg drop off the top rope onto Charlotte. She pins her, but Charlotte kicks out. All the women are now scattered around. Tamina hits Becky with a Samoan drop and then a big splash off the top rope. She pins, but Becky breaks it up. Naomi gets dragged out of the ring by Lana, but then she cracks Lana with a shot. As Naomi jumps back up on the apron, Tamina jacks her jaw with a super kick, knocking her to the floor. As Tamina turns around, Charlotte plunges a super kick into her skull and then pins her for a 3 count. Charlotte is number 1 contender for Natalia's championship. Okay, first of all, why no figure 8? I mean, if I'm WWE, I would have ended this with a figure 8. That's just me, because that would have been a great homage to her father. But just this whole episode, was boring. I mean, even the women's match did not have me that engaged, because it was obvious who was going to win. And everything else was super obvious. I mean, the only reason I even watched it was to report on it. It felt very, very, very just racist. I mean, when you have fans screaming, "That's too much," I mean, the sooner they get that WWE title off of Jinder Mahal, and I can't believe people are like, "That's how he generates heat." No, that's why your dumbasses fell for WWE's little plot. Because anyone that thinks that generates heat, they're wrong. That's not generating heat. That's creating racist stereotypes, which, unfortunately, Vince McMahon is very, very good at. And unfortunately, he's been doing that to the Japanese for God knows how many decades now. It is time to change, and it's time to break the wheel. If you are going to break in to so many indie wrestling companies and scoop up their talent, you need to treat them with respect. Not just take the most roided up fucker in the room and hand him a title he don't deserve and let him get away with saying what he wants. Even if it was scripted. If I was Jinder Mahal, I'd have been like, "No way. I'm not saying this. That's disrespectful." That'd be like somebody going out and saying Jinder Mahal caused 9/11. It's kind of, to me anyway, on that level. That's disrespectful. And as a wrestling fan, no. Don't go there. That's why we have a women's revolution, and it's why we're probably on the cusp of a racial revolution. Because it's time to respect. I mean, there's plenty of respect for Samoans. Y'all don't mind the Samoans, but apparently WWE got a problem with the Japanese for God knows how many years. Respect. Because these guys have come to you lock, stock, and barrel, and you've just buried them all. Anyway, this has been Gary Maloney's Smackdown edition for Smackdown Live and, for Sacktown Slam. Before I sign off, I do want to say that if I have any other information on the guys from What Culture or What Culture's future, I will bring that to you in the future. Anyway, I'm Gary Maloney from Sacktown Slam. Hopefully the outrage from all of us YouTubers towards WWE for this Tuesday's SmackDown will get through to them. So I am Gary Maloney, signing off.